Good afternoon, everyone. So this is kind of a follow-up, or kind of a part 2 to the fire starter torture test that I did, where I submerged fire starters in a bag of water for 2 days and then tried to see if they would light. Now, Michael over at Pine Fire reached out to me after that and asked me if he could send me some products, so I said yes. He said he wanted them done. He wanted a 3-day torture test. So today I got an awesome bag from Pine Fire, and then of course always free Fatwood. And we're gonna soak all of this and see what happens. But let's first break it down and see what we have. So starting off with the clear bag, we have whoa, that is saturated, a really nicely saturated piece of Fatwood, and then it looks like some Fatwood rounds. So we have, these things are juicy, man. Some chunks of Fatwood, and then this really looks like it was a knot, or it was a cross section that was cut off. I don't think I'm going to soak this, only because it's so freaking awesome, and I'd rather use that for a fire. So I'll take that, I'll put that away. That I'm going to keep for myself. This and this will soak. We'll soak it also with this. And then the bag of the products. These are new products that they've been working on. For the winter, it kind of beefs things up. So this is this massive lava bomb, which I've not tried their lava bomb yet. We have some of his dirty jute. This has magnesium stuck all in it. Fire hide. I don't know what else is in here. One of the, I think they're the super fuses, I think is what they call them. It's dirty jute with the magnesium coated in a hard wax to kind of protect it from water. And then, so some more what looks like dirty jute, and it looks like it has really big honking pieces of wax in here. That's what the big white flecks in here look like. More of these breakers. Looks like more jute. This is really thick jute. This is thicker than the last stuff I used. And then, I think he had some clever name for this. I don't remember the name. But these kind of look like those Tinder Tots that worked really, really well. So I got 2 of those. And then another one of these. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to take a piece of hide here. This is not meant to be a fire starter, but we're going to take a piece of this and we're going to soak this. I'm going to cut that in half because we can't just soak them now. We got to go one step further. We're going to end up putting them in. One's going to go in a bucket and get frozen. The other one is going to go in a bucket and get, basically, or not bucket, the other one's going to go in a bag and be submerged. So we'll freeze some of this, we'll soak some of these, see what happens. I will see you guys in 3 days when we're ready. Okay guys, we're back with the submerged fire starters. So this is day 1. I'm going to leave this here. You can see that they do float, but there's a very little air bubble in here. So these are definitely totally submerged in there. This whole thing probably will burst. If it drops below freezing, it's definitely going to break. So I'm going to have to check on this. I'm going to leave this outside, and then in 3 days, it is right now 2:57 on November 24th. 3 days, we're going to come back and we're going to test these out. Now, if that wasn't hard enough for these, we also have a milk jug here, and there are some fire starters in here as well, and this whole thing is going to get frozen, and then we're going to break that ice free and try to get out the fire starters. That only has fire hide in it, some dirty jute, and then I forget what the other ones are. I think they're like super fuses or something, which is the pine resin wrapped, dipped, sorry, the dirty jute dipped in pine resin. So I'll see you guys in 3 days. Okay guys, we're back. Confession though, it has not been 3 days. It's been about 4.5 days. So this is what we're dealing with now. So the bag leaked a little bit, so I had to refill the bag. But everything looks fine. Oh, and pull that out of the way. Frozen solid. And they're in there. There's 2 down there. The fire hide is floating up here, so I'll try to bust this open later. Throw that off to the side. We're going to be doing any prep work with knives. We're going to be using the William Collins Master Junior Woodsman. Homemade ferro rod handle with a ferro rod from Nathan 4076 or 72 maybe. He's on eBay. And then the scraper from 4 Directions Bushcraft. Let's go ahead, bust some of this stuff open, see if it still works. Today I'm not going to be pouring the water onto the amount of the twigs that I have, only because they are green. So I figured since I'm not going to be doing that, it's going to be a little bit warmer today, that I don't need to pour the water on there since they are wet anyway. This is the fire, I believe they called it the firecracker. I guess I am dumping the water onto the tinder. Or onto the kindling. Our fat wood. That bomb, that lava bomb. This chunk of fat wood, which we're not going to try to light with a ferro rod. We're going to just try to burn that straight up. Fire hide. The jute twine and I forget what they call this, but it's like a fuse. It's supposed to be like a mega match kind of material. So let me move some of this stuff out of the way, and let's go with the always promising tried and true fat wood. So take this. This was the free chunk that they send. Not dusting as much. Not that that's a bad sign, but could just be the way the spine is sharpened. There we go. Look at that. And I get hung up on some of those ridges. So we'll just bust that chunk off. I think it's gonna work. It feels really, really dry. There we go. No problem with about 4.5 days in water. Let's move on to the firebreaker, or the firecracker. So what you're supposed to do, according to the directions, is cut a line around the middle of it. This is much harder than anticipated, actually. A whole bunch of weird purple patina on this knife now. Ooh, okay, I felt it break through and kind of crack in there. It's supposed to go all the way around. But I'm just going to do it this way. Peel this open. Holy crap. Alright, sorry about that. Let's go with this again. So the wind kind of took the camera, but so that is a ton of cotton. inside of this. That is insane. I didn't expect that much to come out of it. And it is completely dry after being in there for 4.5 days. So let's see what happens. I'm just gonna throw some sparks. There you go. Holy crap. That's pretty freaking amazing. Let's get our backer. I think the direction said to make sure that actually the outside casing is burning before putting it in to the fire or building your fire around it, and I can definitely see that going right now. Hopefully it will continue to burn, and then if it goes out, you're supposed to fluff it back up more. So let's watch our camera while the wind blows. We wait for this to start up. So that one half is going pretty well, pretty good. The other half not so much. I'll reposition that in a second. Move this a little closer. There we go. This way they'll work together. Throw some kindling on top. And I knocked it away. Build a fun little fire. So now this is green wood and wet wood. It's some green sassafras and some green maple. So sassafras tends to be pretty brittle on its own, even if it is green. This thing is going, man. Holy crap. Let's see if we can get a little something going. I have no doubt that this will burn long enough. I don't have that much today, so I'm not going to put a ton on. That should have more than enough heat output, more than enough burn time to really get that going. So we'll see real quick if we'll ignite those smaller pieces. I can hear the water burning off. So real quick while we wait for that, this is the fire hide, which is not meant as a fire starter, it's meant as a fire extender. So I'm going to cut off a small chunk of that. Oh man, so cut off a small piece. And this isn't meant to light with a ferro rod. I've gotten it to light with a ferro rod. It takes quite a bit of manipulation. I'm going to stick this in here and just see if I can get this to actually light. I can see that magnesium going on the outside, and we have the fire hide just lit. The wind just blew it out because it's such a small piece. And we have the fire hide lit. No problems. I don't even hear any sizzling out of this thing. I hear a little bit of sizzling. So we'll let that kind of sit off here to the side and burn. This thing is going like an inferno right now. I've never seen such an aggressively burning fire starter. Natural, of course. Doing a thermite fire starter would definitely be a little bit more aggressive than this. But this is super, super aggressive right now. And as I'm trying to work my way through the smoke, there's plenty of fire starter left over there. This would work. I don't care if your tinder's wet. My tinder is, not my tinder, my kindling is green and wet right now. And I'm getting flames off of all of this. So this one's awesome. We're gonna let this one burn down a little bit, and we'll go ahead and we'll try another one. So this stuff is like freaking liquid magma. I just threw it into my pit, but you can actually see this huge area here that's all charred material that has started to light, and then here is where the fire starter was actually sitting. And it lit my brace on fire all the way in the corner. This was like this. This is where the fire starter was over here. So that fire really got going. Let's move on to... Let's get the other big thing out of the way, and then we'll go on to the smaller stuff. We'll go on to this bomb here, which I believe the whole idea is to take this jute twine and open it up. Kind of fluff up all the bits. I don't know if this is going to work. It feels just a bit damp, but with all this resin in here, it might actually still catch. As the fire starter from the previous test continues to furiously burn. So, alright, I think that'll be enough. That may be right over here. Brace out of the way. Bring it closer now to me. Right there. Ah. So if the wick is too affected by the water, I'm going to kind of break this open to start it. I got a flame. So a little bit of effort. Let's see if I can manipulate this to catch the rest. Of course, as the wind picks up. Now that I got it burning, I should be able to get it relit fairly easily. There we go. This is gonna light, like whatever I throw on it. As long as it hits that main body of that bomb, this thing's gonna light. I'm not even gonna try to throw anything on. We're just gonna watch it burn for a few minutes to see what it does. I have a feeling that this is something that burns for like half an hour. Pine Fire also supplies like foil that you can put, and some of their kits they have foil that you can put under it, which will increase the burn time because all that resin doesn't soak into the wood. And then of course it cools and it allows for a better burn. Liking this fire hide. So you're not supposed to be able to get this started while that burns. You're not supposed to be able to get this started with a ferro rod. But I found with a little bit of prep, some TLC, you can cut off a rather large chunk. I like that you can just kind of cut it down, tear it apart. You take the time to kind of get in between these layers and pull them apart, which it's completely dry in between these layers. I'm really surprised about that. But kind of even get an edge frayed with your fingers, or even maybe with the knife. I haven't tried it with the knife yet. See, but when you get stuff frayed up, it kind of wants to stick back to itself. So it makes it a little bit difficult to get this going with a ferro rod. That's why it's recommended that you use it with a lighter. But if I start pulling at this corner, I can start lifting up some of that material. And getting those inner fibers. And then with a bit of luck, I don't think I'll get it started this time. You might be able to get it lit. Little bit of a flame. Little flame. You know, it's not the easiest to get lit. Definitely takes some practice. But it's doable, it's possible. So this was the one that was submerged for 4.5 days. You can hear that lava bomb going now. And that other fire starter finally burned itself out. Firecracker. So kind of just put this fire hide over here, sort of folded, so you get good airflow underneath. Chunks up here I can put on. Other chunks of fire hide. Oh. We have this new and improved jute twine. Now last time I was able to get the jute twine lit, and then we have this kind of mega match in a way. Let's open up this match. So it's probably, I'm going to say it's all the same jute as the bomb. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to work. This one's harder to open up than the bomb. So I'm thinking that there's definitely more resin and wax in this. I'm going to try it on this little bit of a mushed end here that I made. I had a little bit of an end that I've kind of mushed down. I've had success with that in the past. There's a super high resin content on this. Try to not burn myself from that fire hide, man. Move that. Trying to put it out. You can see. Chunk of another fire starter left over here. Put that in there. Oh, it's lit. It just went out. It definitely did light. Let's try this again. The wind's making everything harder. There we go. There was definitely moisture in this. Not that much though. I think it's pretty hard to keep that out of the jute twine. But now that this is going, I'm sure it's gonna be perfectly fine. And I don't know if you can see, but there's a huge pool of, we'll use our, this piece of fat wood is sopping wet. It's a nice wet piece of fat wood here. There's a huge pool of material down here, not material, of wax and resin and whatever else they use. Let's go ahead and we'll see if we can get this piece of fat wood lit. So this was soaking for 4 days. I'll lay that on there. You can hear the sizzle from it. I'll give it a minute or so, see if it'll light. That is really, really sopping wet, so it might not actually light. We'll see. We'll prep this piece of jute twine. Now this jute has magnesium coating the outside of it to help the process. So you can kind of, if you do this over a piece of paper or a piece of foil, all the chunks that are falling off while I'm trying to open this up will definitely help you to light the fire. So I got some good chunks there. Let's just take a look. It started, look, pulled out a lot of resin. Doesn't want to light that easily. It's trying, but there is quite a bit of moisture in there. Man, is it smoky now. There we go, it's lit. Got a little bit of a flame off of it. This is some really, really, really juicy fat wood. I think earlier you didn't see me put this in the bag or the other piece of fat wood because I forgot. But after I stopped recording, I put it in the bag. There you go. Put this over in the pit. You can see everything's going really, really well. We're gonna try to light up this piece of jute. Maybe move this piece out of the way. Ooh, it's stuck to the wood. Put that over there just to keep the flames away from me. That's really sticky and awesome. This, whatever Michael did with this is insane. It's like, I can see why he called it the lava bomb. You definitely see how aggressive that is. So definitely more aggressive burn times right now than I've been seeing. These products are also meant for the winter, so for colder, wetter environments, windy environments possibly. I'm trying to see through the smoke. Might have to move that out of the way. I'm gonna have to move that. It's just too much right now. It's stuck. Woo. I'll move this little one as well, and that pool of burning material, or that pool of fire, is just the resin that was left over from the lava bomb. So you can kind of see how it's a ridiculously insane fire starter. It's definitely overkill, but it's not bad to have something that's overkill in your kit from time to time, especially for really hard to light fires, really wet conditions, really cold, windy, snowy or rainy conditions. It was lit. Go again. Scrape off some of the burned up ferrocerium. can't believe that pool of fire is still going. This one's definitely a little bit more difficult to get going. Let me find my better side of my ferro rod. Oh, there you go. And it went out. I might not even have to move. I don't want to give up on this, but this one doesn't seem like it wants to light. Other variations of it did. Kind of pull out the end. This little end here. Try that. There you go. I just didn't prep it right. There you go. See if it continues to burn. I gotta move out of the way though, because I'm being killed. By all that smoke, I'm really surprised it's still burning. The lava bomb is still going strong in the fire pit. I wasn't paying attention. My jute went out. So let's get that. Let's see if that'll go. Get going again. There you go. The wind must have taken it while I wasn't watching. We've done the fire hide. Move this over here and show you guys what else we have. So we have that piece of jute stuck here in this chunk of ice. The cracker thing that's like the match. And then we have a rolled up frozen hunk of fire hide. I broke this open earlier just because it was going to be a pain. I had to hit the container with a sledgehammer several times. What do I think? I think the fire hide's still going to work just fine. Drop those off to the side. For its intended use, I think it'll be okay. It's definitely a little bit more brittle. Feels a lot more saturated. We'll see if we can get it lit. The wind's not helping our process, or my process. It's starting to light. You can hear all that moisture on there and in there. But it's lit. Pop. So that worked. I'm not going to try it with a fire steel. It just takes too long, and that's not the intended purpose for it. Let me rearrange that really quick. Okay. Let's crack this one open while we're here. Back of the knife. Maybe. It might light. So let's see. Not designed for this. I'm thinking if I can't get this end lit, I'm just going to try to break it open to see if I can get it to light. Even though it was frozen, I can still untwist it. So that's a good sign. Very, very resinous. have it unfolded already. That was pretty quick. I'm gonna try to fluff it up some, get some fibers exposed here. Stuff is sure some tough stuff, gotta say that. Gotta hand it to Michael. That might be enough. You can actually see, I thought that was a water, it kind of is a water drop. It's floating over there. There was so much resin in that pool. I can hear the moisture burning off. Oh, a little bit of flame. Looks like it lit. Very, very impressive. This was also frozen for the same amount of time. Throw this out of the way. And again, that's just leftover resin burning. And the end of my scraper from scraping the jute before is covered in resin. So that will relight this. This is just much more susceptible to wind. That's going to be the biggest drawback. It's going to be the wind. That bomb, that lava bomb, is still going. It's lit up almost everything in there right now in that fire pit. There we go. Relit once again, now that the wind has died down. And no doubt that this will continue to go, and if it does go out, it should be pretty easy to relight. And once it gets that resin burning on the outside, there's pretty much no stopping it. Obviously, if you dump water on it, you're going to stop it. But there's no reasonable way. Wind's not going to blow that out once that resin gets going. Alright, we have what we had the issue with before, that chunk of jute twine. Gently break this free without lighting it on fire. Knock off all of that nice lovely material, all of our ice. Now of course my fire block is wet. Alright guys, I want to apologize to you. I was rolling, or my camera stopped recording while I was doing this last test here on the frozen jute twine. It did work. What I did and had more success with it this time was I took the ends and I twisted and I kind of fluffed up the middle and started the jute twine from the middle. I want to say a huge thank you to Michael for sending these products over for testing. They held up great. There was no failures. Of course, they're going to be a little bit difficult to light, especially if some moisture gets into them. That bomb has finally burned out probably after about 20 minutes of burning, and everything in that, all the little scraps of wood in that fire pit are lit up. This fire starter actually blew out while I was lighting this one and relit itself, so that was awesome. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in, and if you liked what you saw here, please make sure to click like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be posting more videos soon. Thank you.